My name is Liran Hirschkorn, and I'm the CEO and founder of Incrementum Digital, and I'm also an advisor to 8Fig. Since 2014, I've been involved in e-commerce, more specifically in selling on Amazon and building brands on Amazon. And I also help brands through my agency, Incrementum Digital, scale their business on Amazon. So a focus on e-commerce, but more specifically in helping brands specifically grow on Amazon. Multi-channel fulfillment is the ability for a merchant off of Amazon utilize Amazon's fulfillment network in order to fulfill their inventory, so they can store and ship their inventory from Amazon's warehouses to their customer, even when they're not selling on Amazon. One of the benefits is obviously you don't need a 3PL to fulfill for you. You can use Amazon, and you can use inventory stored at Amazon to fulfill both your Amazon inventory and your non-Amazon orders. So that's a benefit. You have everything in kind of one place, consolidated. One of the downsides is that you can't specifically, let's say you want to put a specific promotion or something to a set of customers, where if you have your own warehouse or a third-party warehouse, it's a little bit more flexible. Also, on a pricing standpoint, it could be more beneficial than your third-party warehouse, or it could be more expensive. So you need to weigh the costs of both the storage with Amazon versus the 3PL. But you do get that consolidation of goods in one place. That's generally the benefit, and perhaps pricing as well. The primary platform I recommend generally for people to launch their brand is Amazon. The reason why is because you already have a built-in audience, built-in customer base. And in my opinion, there's less things you have to be really good at to execute. So for example, you have to be really good at creating a great detail page with SEO related keywords and having the right offer, images, but everything is more like a template in a sense on Amazon. Off Amazon, you have to be good at more things. You have to be good at social media. You have to be good at Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, marketing and ads. You have to be good at email marketing. You have to be good at conversion rate optimization and building a site, right? Which obviously you can hire people from, but there's more aspects to it that I feel like you need to be successful. I would say that in some cases, you shouldn't launch on Amazon. And that's, I would say, maybe in a couple different scenarios. One, the scenario where you have a product where there isn't, let's say, a lot of search volume demand for. I'll give you an example. We helped recently a woman that was on Shark Tank. She has a product called Fryaway. And Fryaway is a product where you put powder on you cook. After you cook, you put this powder on the oil, and it makes all the oil solid, and you can scrape it up and just put it in the garbage instead of putting it down the drain, which is not so good for your drains. And when she came to us, she was already doing very well on Amazon. She was already selling well. It was before she was on Shark Tank too. And I asked her, how were you actually selling well? Because there isn't a lot of people searching for this solution because they don't know about it. And she said actually she had her success from like PR, a lot of articles she was written up in. And so in her case, she could have, launched this off Amazon because she wasn't really benefiting from the search volume traffic on Amazon. In that case, you can launch on Amazon, but you're still going to need something from the outside in order to bring people awareness around the product. So that's one scenario where I would say you can launch off Amazon. The other scenario I would say is when you have a premium price product compared to the competition. Again, I think you're really going to need to do more with social media, influencers, telling a story, more so off Amazon than you'll have success with on Amazon, which is much more of a price driven because it's a marketplace environment. When somebody's on your website, they're really only shopping there, and you have more of a chance to kind of tell the story, and they're not comparing 20 products around you. So I think there's definitely cases where you should launch off Amazon, but a lot of the time I think the opportunity is launch on Amazon and see if you get traction there, get to a certain level in revenue, and then go off Amazon. Number one, if you don't have very high volume off Amazon, many times third-party warehouses that do fulfillment won't take you, or they have certain minimum fees because they want to take customers that have 10,000 units a month or 5,000 units a month in orders. Maybe you don't have that. Maybe you're selling low volume, and it's going to be more challenging for you to work with a third-party warehouse. So that's a perfect scenario for multi-channel fulfillment. And two, really it's for somebody that is really, I think the other scenarios, I think, are ones where you need to really compare the pricing between your warehouse and Amazon. But also, if you're turning inventory fast, it's a good solution. But if your inventory turns are not as fast, generally storing at a third-party warehouse is going to be cheaper than storing on Amazon. So I would say, high turns, fast-moving inventory, and also low volume of inventory are going to be both like good scenarios. There are advantages, obviously, to also using a third-party warehouse. I would say also in the past year, something that's become more popular or growing is something called Buy with Prime, which is a sort of version of multi-channel fulfillment, which is the ability to have a Prime button on your website. You have to get fulfillment from Amazon for that, and that gives you 1 to 2 day shipping on your website and some advantages to improve conversions. The first thing is, I think if you're smaller, you should have a focus. So if you're going to choose Shopify or off Amazon D2C, you should be there. If you're going to choose Amazon, you should be there. But if the smaller you are, the more focused you should be on one particular channel. I also think even within that channel, there are many sellers I've seen over the years that go on Amazon.com and 3 months later they want to expand to Canada or to Europe. Also typically a mistake. You really want to have a focus. You want to have a product line that's differentiated. One of the things I think you should always be asking yourself is, why would somebody buy my product? I'm up against other people all around me that have thousands of reviews very often on Amazon. I'm launching today a new product. I want to know, you want to have a good reason why somebody should be buying your product versus a competition. So successful e-commerce sellers are ones that are understanding the market, understanding the competition, and understanding how to come in from an angle that's differentiated for their customer base, and they can win there. I also think if you're smaller, you should focus on niches, and like the more niche you go, the better, because those niches and sub niches are going to be less competitive than, let's say, bigger markets, mass markets. It's also areas where if you're on Amazon, Amazon is not likely to come in and compete because they usually go after broader, like bigger markets. So I would say if you're small, really focus on sub niches and a specific target audience, tailor your product to that, differentiate your product, and then focus on great content on the platform and leveraging all the tools that, let's say, Amazon gives you, or again, if you're going to go D2C on D2C, tools. In some cases, and we've seen this over the years, Amazon comes into a particular market, and unfortunately for sellers in that market, Amazon takes market share because Amazon doesn't necessarily have to make money when they go into a market. They can afford to lose money for several years to break into the market. So this could obviously be an issue. What I would say is that there's no foolproof, but the bigger the market potential, the more likely it could be. Amazon's going to go after large markets like a gym bag, right? It's a big market, right? Gym bags, or cell phone cases or chargers, commodity type products. The more you differentiate your product, you consider doing things that are unique designs, design patents, perhaps utility. Like the more you come up, perhaps bundling a few things together, the more you do that, the less likely you're going to compete with Amazon directly. It doesn't mean you're foolproof. There's sectors where people have come in and Amazon, has come into the market, but the more you differentiate, and also this also says to the idea that when you get to a certain point in size, you should build your own audience off Amazon. There's a great story of a company that had I believe it was some kind of like weekend bag, and Amazon copied them directly, and they actually took this opportunity and they created an entire video that went viral as a result. So they made this whole video of like, hey, this is us. We spend hours of time like innovating and putting in all this work. And then here comes Amazon, and wow, it looks very similar to ours. And they created this entire video that actually I think gave their brand a lot of awareness, and I think also connected with a lot of people that are going to say, well, I'm going to go support them because it's like small brand, that's being kind of robbed by the big brand. So they used it to their advantage as well. Maybe we could find it and add it in the notes here, because it's very entertaining what they did and how they used this to actually gain attention. And other companies like Allbirds, they put out a letter also when Amazon copied their product, and they said, we focus on all these sustainable resources we get in these countries, and here comes Amazon with like the knockoff version, cheaper version that's not exactly the same. And they also took the opportunity to kind of get attention when Amazon copied the product. So, you could potentially leverage that, but I would say the more niche you go, the less likely you're going to encounter that. Many people have gone over the last couple of 2-3 years to Walmart. Personally, I would say I would recommend you go on your own platform, you go on Shopify, because I think you have potential to sell more there, and you also, let's say, own the customer, where you get the customer data, you can remarket to that customer, email market. I personally would go there second before going to Walmart. Generally, what I've seen from sellers is they get somewhere around 5% or even less of their sales on Amazon on Walmart. So for me, it wouldn't be my first choice. And then I would also consider going to different markets, even within Amazon. So if you're US, perhaps Canada or UK are kind of markets to potentially expand to. But I would go to my own website. Buy with Prime, and I think it's kind of a genius idea from Amazon. I can give you a little bit of the history and my take on how it originated. But what Buy with Prime is essentially is using Amazon's fulfillment network and capabilities to leverage on your website, where you can have a checkout that says Buy with Prime. So it'll say, ship in 1 to 2 days or receive in 1 to 2 days. It'll be a Buy with Prime checkout option underneath your other regular checkout option on your website, Shop Pay or something else. And in that case, Amazon does the merchant processing. They do the fulfillment. So you store your inventory with Amazon, and Amazon will charge a 3% fee of the sale, unlike on Amazon.com, or on Amazon, where it's like 15% generally. So the opportunity is to increase your conversion rates, because Amazon Prime customers are much more likely to check out on your website if they come across your website, because they see that fast shipping. And, in the US, there's 100 million plus Prime customers. And so it's a great opportunity to sell more through your website. You are still getting the customer data, but you're leveraging Amazon's fulfillment, just like Multichannel. But this time you can get 1 to 2 day shipping, which with Multichannel fulfillment, it's not really possible to get that 1 to 2 day shipping time. So it's a great opportunity. The way this, I think, evolved and came to be is, one, Andy Jassy, who's Amazon's new CEO post Jeff Bezos, has a little bit more of an open philosophy, where they're okay. We've seen Amazon over the last couple of years share a lot more data with sellers, and I think this is another step in opening things up more. So Andy Jassy ran AWS before he was CEO of the entire company, and AWS essentially is the sort of underlying cloud storage, right, of the internet. Well, Buy with Prime is like the underlying fulfillment network, right, of all of eCommerce. So I think that concept originated with his team, and I think in the past Amazon would have been less likely to do something like this. I also think that today, based on how much regulators and the government is sort of really watching Amazon and bringing them to Congress, that by doing this, Amazon says, look, anybody, any retailer, any company can have access to Prime shipping. If Macy's wants to set up Prime shipping, they have it available now. And so we're opening up our, let's say, this is like the railroads of the past, right? That were built where they own the railroads. Well, now they're opening up those railroads to everybody. So I think this has benefit for them from a regulation standpoint as well. But beyond that, what it gives Amazon is, today they have, maybe half, right, or whatever it is of the e-commerce sales online. This gives them access to that other half. And they're not only getting this 3% fee of those sales, but they're taking the merchant processing and they're taking the fulfillment fee and the storage. This is a big blow to Shopify, for example, who makes a lot of their money off merchant processing. So I think there'll be a deal there too, because there's some conflict there between them there. But this gives Amazon a lot more upside potential. In addition to that, Amazon advertising business can grow from this too, because right now, for example, we're doing a beta test where we're using the Amazon audience data to drive traffic to somebody's D2C site with Buy with Prime. So you will see also the ability for Amazon advertising to be utilized. And this is another growth area for Amazon in their advertising business, which is a very high margin business. From a merchant standpoint, it's a great opportunity to improve your conversions. Now, today, it's not perfect yet. The shopping cart is limited in some ways. You can't add 2 different products to the cart. You have to check out twice. You don't have upsells, for example, like certain things that you can do with a Shopify cart, but Amazon has that all on the roadmap, and I believe it will improve over time, and it does present a good opportunity to sell more through your own site. But today, the cart is not yet perfect. That means if you're selling, let's say, in something where people may buy 2 different sizes, things like that, it may not be ideal. It's ideal for certain types of products where somebody's buying like 1 product on your website, not 2. But again, I think it will improve over time and will present a good opportunity. No, I wouldn't recommend this to every e-commerce seller at this point. What I would say is that if you already have traffic to your website and you're already getting sales, it's worth testing it. You can try it on 1 product. You don't have to put it on your entire line and see, do I get increased conversions as a result? So that's probably what I would do. I would put it on a product, put it on 1 product, test it, and see if I'm getting increased conversion rates. Other things you could do is you can create a page on your site just called Buy with Prime, and on that page just feature maybe any products that you have with Buy with Prime, like create a landing page. You can also test running ads to that landing page. But I would say if you're not already driving traffic to your website, if there's nothing significant there, then just adding that checkout won't help because you don't really have the traffic. So I would only do it if you already have some somewhat sales that are significant through your website. So I think Buy with Prime is definitely one of those trends that we're going to see. I also see right now I see the focus on profitability in e-commerce just because of the environment. So like D2C, where you had companies like Casper and these companies that Allbirds, that just raised a lot of money and just were allowed to be non-profitable for years. I think that's now gone. So I think there's much more of a focus around profitability currently. And also on the Amazon side, more so trends around building brands where, in the past with Amazon, you kind of launch whatever product you would think could have success, but didn't necessarily fit in the brand. Today, Amazon is giving a lot more tools to really build a brand on Amazon. So for example, in your A+ content, there's now a section you can have above there that's called a brand story. You could feature more of the story. You could build out storefronts that are a lot richer in terms of content, video. Premium A+ can have interactive modules and video. So there's a lot more opportunities for somebody to kind of create a brand story on the Amazon side. So I think that's kind of where things are moving, at least on the Amazon side. And I think currently also just big focus around profitability. Shopify originally their president, when it came out, said on a call like, "Oh, we're embracing Buy with Prime." I think he was then advised to walk back those comments, and he did. And Amazon's been giving this code to the sellers to add on their Shopify stores to add the cart. And one day Shopify came out and gave people like a message that said it's against Shopify terms of service to use this, but they're not really taking any action against it. And I think what's happening behind the scenes is them working on a deal where Shopify will get probably a cut on the fees, but they have not taken any action against it. But that was the kind of response. Other platforms like BigCommerce, for example, really embraced it. BigCommerce doesn't do the merchant processing and all that, and they're also the underdog. So they came out in a big way, embracing it. They added a Buy with Prime section on their app, and for them, it's kind of like opportunity to showcase it and partner with Amazon, and make some waves and differentiate themselves from Shopify. In terms of other trends, obviously we've seen platforms like TikTok really influence e-commerce. If you follow, there's like a hashtag, TikTok made me buy it. And if you go, there's, millions of views on videos. So I think it's another trend. Will we see TikTok develop their own e-commerce platform? Will we see live shopping take off? These are some things that, I'm more bullish on, let's say, TikTok launching an e-commerce platform. And in fact, I think they would be a bigger competitor to Amazon than Walmart if they did. And again, live shopping, we'll see, it has not really taken off in the US the way it's taken off in China. So it should be interesting. One other trend is we've seen this movement from, Chinese sellers selling on US platforms like Amazon to now Chinese e-commerce platforms, right? Like Temu and Shine really become like the top apps. So it'll be interesting to see how that develops. Where does that continue to develop and continue to gain share over Amazon? And it's not just the Chinese sellers selling on Amazon. It's just the whole platform really is Chinese owned, and that'll be interesting to see if that develops, if they can improve on the shipping times, things like that, to capture more of the U.S. customer, especially in a, let's say, in a down economy, right? Because you're buying China direct, cheaper, and it's a good opportunity for them right now as people are watching more of what they're spending. Live shopping, which is very big in China, is Amazon has something called Amazon Live. So if you go to amazon.com/live, you can see brands and creators, mostly creators, Amazon influencers, who are running basically like the home shopping network kind of like show, where they're featuring different products that they like, and people can buy those products, directly click, buy the product. And the way it works is that the influencer gets like the Amazon affiliate fee on when people are buying these products, and very often the influencers are partnering with brands to feature products. It still hasn't, I would say, taken off in a big way, but this is very popular in China as a form of buying. So it'll be interesting to see if it does pick up steam. I've also seen some D2C websites start to add live shopping on their website, where once a week they're going on, or certain times they're going on, and they're actually there talking about the products and doing some kind of special offers and showcasing products. It's very good for especially certain type of products. If I'm selling ingredients of food, I can show you how to make different recipes, right? Different. It can make a cooking show showing these ingredients, right? Or if I'm selling pots and pans, right? I could show you how I'm using them live, and it's kind of conducive to that. But again, hasn't really taken off in the U.S. the way it's taken off in Asia. So we'll see if it grows in popularity. I wouldn't say that should be your priority today. I would say if you're going to do similar, I would say you would just work with Amazon influencers to promote your products on social media versus the live. It just hasn't taken off in the same way, but it's something to watch, to see if it gains traction.